When I read on my guest's website that by using her tools, you can expect to see results like live 10 years longer, be 3 times more creative and happier, perform 30% better, sell 37% more. Hey, no hesitation. She had to be a guest. But which of our TBV TV shows? When I read a bit further, it was a slam dunk. It had to be the Conscious Business Show and our conscious leader focused. My guest is known as the Chaos Guru, helping leaders harness the power of chaos in their lives to become more authentic, more conscious. So let's get you thinking more clearly about conscious leadership as we say hello to entrepreneur, coach, and author Jothi Dugar. Hello, Jothi.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for that great introduction.
Oh, we're more than glad to see you. You're in Virginia today. Jothi, welcome to the Conscious Leader segment of our show. Before we delve further into how you help leaders, I have to ask, why are you called the Chaos Guru?
Sure. So I've had a lot of chaos in my own life, starting from childhood, but all the way up to healthcare journeys that I've had to manipulate and maneuver for myself, and even with relationships and marriage chaos, and also in being a cybersecurity leader as well in a male-dominated environment leads to a lot of chaos there. And when I really had to come down to it, like, what am I really trying to help people with, and how do I blend all my worlds together? The number one word that came to me was, hey, I seem to be really good at not just managing chaos, but actually harnessing the chaos to then have it actually be my superpower. So I came up with chaos as my superpower through just my own life journeys.
Yeah, excellent. I was just thinking you could continue this career always just by being causing chaos and then solving it for people. should we, Jothi, should we aim to exclude all chaos in our lives, or is there a part to play of some chaos? I know I thrive on when things go wrong. Hopefully not in this interview.
Sure. And really, it's just definitely you don't want to get rid of the chaos. So I am a big proponent of looking at chaos as your best friend. Because if you look at your true best friends in your life, they're not always going to tell you what you want to hear. They're not always going to paint the rosy picture for you or just agree with everything that you say. And if they do, they're probably not your best friend or true best friend. So if you look at chaos as a true best friend, it's happening. Everything's happening for you in this moment in time for a reason. And it's really hard. I know. Trust me. I've been through a lot. You name it. I've probably been through it. It's not always the easiest when you're in a state of chaos to realize this is actually happening for you. But once you start realizing that there's different types of chaos and how to release the chaos from your lives, how to actually invite in the good chaos in your life, then when you look back at things and you start connecting dots, everything in life is happening for you. It's just a question of, what can you learn? What is there for you to learn in that moment? Find that gift, process it, fix it, and then move on so that you don't get the same type of chaos over and over.
Yeah, I like that. Now, tell me about your work in delivering transformational programs for those wanting to be conscious leaders. In our Conscious Business Academy approach, we say it's a wide agenda and don't rush at it all at once. How do you go about preparing the foundation for good, conscious leadership?
Sure. So everything starts with you. So it starts from within you. So everything that's happening in your life today, it's coming from someplace within you that's attracting the situation, the person, the events, the materialistic objects in your life. It's all something that you created in your mind first. That's happening in reality. But it's also, there's parts of you in your subconscious or in deeper levels that you've been suppressing, maybe from your childhood days, or maybe even before that. And you really haven't found how to heal that and how to process it and release it. Now, that part of you is also attracting these situations in your life. So when in my programs, we it's a holistic program. So we go mind, body, and energy. And we really start looking at from the mindset, because mindset is about 75% of what makes you succeed in life or not succeed in life. Everything is about, it started with me for my own mindset. So every situation you can either tell yourself an empowering story or a disempowering story, but you are the one telling the story. So which is great. And some people find out like, well, I don't, it's always somebody else's fault. And that's basically taking your power and giving it to the other person, hoping that that person is going to resolve things for you, which is never going to happen. So the fact that you have this power and you are telling the story and you can make the story whatever you want it to be, it's all in your mind. But then your energy, and there's a lot to it that we go through, but it's very easily done. Because I know, being a mom of 3, being a cyber executive, and also being a wellness practitioner and an author and speaker, I don't have any more time than anybody else. Time is finite, right? But energy is infinite. So by learning how to manage your energy through these mind-body energy techniques that I really teach are like 2-minute, 3-minute, maximum 5-minute routines that you can do throughout the day, you're able to manage your energy, which then makes you a lot more successful, a better performer, more effective, and more efficient in everything that we do.
Excellent. I like that. Just plugging a new battery in a few times a day, isn't it? How should a leader cultivate, though, a culture of consciousness that allows people to feel comfortable to talk about their well-being and things such as mental fitness? It's often been said that, mental worries and stress and that is the elephant that never left the room. Your thoughts, Jothi, on delivering the right atmosphere or culture?
So, I think we're going to a new era where people are more conscious, because we've been running off of autopilot mode, where people were blindly just going through life by default, doing the same thing over and over, not really being awake or aware of their actions, their words, their thoughts, and just their life. And this situation, this era that we're going into, has enabled people to take a pause and really look at their life and look at themselves. Like, is this the person that I want to be? Did I spend all of these years, whatever I spent all of these years doing, is this the end result, or do I want to be something different, or who am I really? So when you look at the millennial generation, they got so used to technology, social media, not really having that physical in-person contact with other friends too often. They start losing their sense of purpose. So this is a really great transition stage that we're in to really help people. Look at the job that you're in. Look at the career that you decided on. Is this what you really? Does this fuel you up? Because if it does, then you shouldn't be tired. You shouldn't be waking up in the morning thinking like, oh, okay, I gotta do my job again. Because if you think of it as a job, that means that there's something. It's not gelling with you. Maybe it's not the right career for you. And it's a little scary sometimes, because you're like, oh my gosh, then maybe I chose the wrong career. Like, what do I do now? So I'm not saying that you have to completely jump ship and try to find something else, but at least come to that awareness, like, maybe this isn't the career for me. So, well, what is then? And open yourself up to that creative mode. Like, well, maybe I can start doing things on the side. Maybe I can have a passion that I start doing, and can I merge that passion with my career? That's what I did. I got into wellness, but I was a cybersecurity executive, and one would think like, oh, there's no way you can merge the two, but I was able to, because I started it, slowly and steadily and outside of work, and then I started creating a program inside of work. Which really took off, especially these days. And then now, I am doing wellness in my organization as well as cyber. So there, when you seek, the answers will come. So I think more and more people, as you said, are getting more conscious. So it is more openly talked about. But if you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're any sort of leader, it doesn't mean that you have to be an executive. But if you're a mom, you're already a leader. And even if you're a spouse and you don't have kids yet, you might be a leader, for certain things in your relationship. Maybe not for everything, but certain things. So whatever you're leading, you have to lead from within. And then when you start leading from within more consciously, people start seeing you have that ripple effect. You then, somebody might ask him, what are you doing? You just seem very different, or you seem happier, or you just seem more lighter. Because when you start doing things in your what really truly makes you happy, you don't have that heavy energy, right? The negative, because negative energy is heavy, which is why when you feel down, you're kind of like, you're sitting like this. But positive energy is light. So when you start doing things more on what you're truly meant to do, you will just look like a lighter person. You might actually feel like you lost 20 pounds, and you might feel like you're walking on air, because the positive energy like brings you up.
I like that. I'm energized, Jothi. I'm energized. So a CEO is watching this and he says, let's get Jothi in and tomorrow we'll be a conscious company. It doesn't work like that, does it? Tell me how you suggest a company should go about its transformation into being truly conscious.
Sure. And things, you have to take steps in the right direction, but you will start seeing an effect right from day one. So what do I mean by that is when you start taking conscious steps every hour, and the techniques I teach are like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or 5-minute techniques. So it doesn't take that much time, and you're already doing things in your daily life. So my goal is to embed these techniques into what you're already doing. So I would hope that you're brushing your teeth in the morning. So while you're brushing your teeth, instead of thinking about all the things you got to do today, or all, or you're thinking about somebody said something yesterday and you're really pissed at them, instead of thinking of those things, just use one of our techniques in those 2 minutes or 3 minutes or however long you brush your teeth. And that's it. That's all you do in that moment of time. And then what else do you do that you're already doing? Maybe are you driving to work, or are you eating breakfast? What do you usually do when you eat your breakfast? Are you reading a newspaper? Are you watching TV? Or are you thinking again about your day? But again, you're not consciously doing that, right? Your brain is just sending you all of these thoughts. So now you're just being a little bit more conscious of what you're thinking about throughout the day. And you're doing these quick techniques mindfully. So it's similar to mindfulness, but it's also not just being mindful, but also incorporating techniques that actually rewire your brain. So it starts building up that gray matter so that you can start making decisions from a calm, peaceful state of mind instead of the agitated chaos state of mind.
I really like that, Jothi. Mind, I'll have to ring you up and complain to you if I cut myself shaving tomorrow whilst I'm doing that.
Well, you have to be conscious. Remember, you still got to be conscious.
Mind, I do it in my own way. Just a little bit of staring out of the window across the fields in the morning, and it really does, as you say, energize you. Okay. By the way, that CEO that I was just mentioning before, he needs to take down the details of your URL that's behind me and pass it around, doesn't he? Or she?
Yes, yeah. That is my website, jothidugar.com. And, I have a book. I have a book coming out. I have more books coming out. I also do chaos clarity calls in case that someone's wondering, like, I have this problem, but what do I do about it for myself or for my organization? Because I do offer individual and corporate programs. So
excellent. So pop along to Jothi's website there. Now let's delve further into your approaches and tools. As I said in my opening piece, your website says I can live longer, be more creative, perform and sell better. Now, I know that those are not idle promises, but how do you go about delivering them? I'm a student. Where do I start?
Sure. So one is the first step in anything that you do in life is awareness. So it's becoming aware that you have something that you don't want anymore. Maybe you have a lot of trauma in your life that it's not that you don't want the trauma, but you don't want it to bog you down. You don't want that heaviness, and you don't want it to be that ball and chain that you're kind of dragging around. So one is that awareness. Because not a lot of people are even in that state. It's really hard to incorporate any sort of program or do anything with someone who doesn't realize this is what's going on within them, or that they're not in enough pain. So most of the programs are at the individual level that I teach. It's not for everyone. It's for those that have that pain within them, that they want to be relieved of that pain. And maybe they've tried different things over the course of time that maybe worked to a certain degree, but it didn't really completely release them. And I've gone through my own share of modalities and techniques and just tried about 100 different things. And then I ended up learning those 100 different things for myself. So, and what I found was it is the integration of different things put together that really enables someone to transform completely. But it does take time. But I don't want people to misunderstand that they're not going to see any results until like the entire 9-week is done. You will start seeing the results from day one, because one, we're changing your awareness of maybe something that you thought was an issue isn't an actual issue. So that's why, people tend to run away from the chaos or try to push it aside or to try to ignore it. And what we teach is, no, look at the chaos in your life. We have to actually look at what's going on consciously and visibly because you have to see the target. You can't hit a target you can't see. Right. So if you keep kind of like ignoring the target and just kind of, being too scared of it, then you're really not going to be able to hit it. So looking at the chaos and then starting to figure out, okay, is this the good chaos? Is this bad chaos? Or is this the ugly chaos? If it's a good chaos, you want to invite that in. That is the chaos that you actually want in life, because it enables you to create and innovate. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. The bad chaos is where we teach. This is slightly tricky because this is one where you might not be aware of the negative forces in your life. So have you ever heard of a bad friend, where everybody else can see how this person's affecting like your son or daughter, let's say, but except for your son or daughter who claims like, no, this is the best friend possible, oh my gosh, like, such a good, but then everybody else, like the parents can see it, maybe other friends can like, I don't think this is such a good friend. Right. And so there has to be, there's things like that happen from energetic forces. And just really quick example would be feng shui. So if you have a picture that's hanging in your bedroom of a desert with one tree on it, but you are trying to manifest a new relationship in your life, and you keep wondering like, why am I not finding my soulmate? But you have this picture of a lonely desert with a lonely tree on it. So the energy of that picture is that's what you're attracting to yourself. You're attracting that energy of loneliness. And I know it sounds a little silly, like, well, it's just a picture. I'm like, yes, but every object in the universe has an energy to it, which is why you get drawn to certain things. Like when you get drawn to certain colors, certain fabrics, certain material, certain cars, it's because it's the object itself is emitting a certain energy that you're on the same wavelength with. So you tend to naturally gravitate towards that. So same thing happens with pictures in your house. So, if you have a picture of loneliness and that's the energy you're attracting, then it's going to be a little bit impossible for you to find that soulmate. But the good thing with this bad chaos is that there's quick fixes to it. Because what do we have to do? We just have to change that picture to a picture of something that reflects more love, like maybe two lovebirds sitting on a tree or something like that. So now little by little, with time, now you have more of the positive loving energy that you're attracting, which then will help you. So there's lots of things to that bad chaos. It sounds a little scary. It's like, well, how do I know it's around me? Which is where you do need the help of an expert to kind of see what's going on around you. It's like, yep, oh yeah, you're attracting all of this negative energy. That's why things aren't happening. But the ugly chaos is where a lot of people start with, just because this is the type of chaos that might have come from past traumas, from suppressed emotions that you really haven't released from you. And it's hard. There's a lot that people suppress all the way down. But the good thing is, with the ugly chaos, there's so many different tools and techniques for this. And this is really where we specialize in the 2-minute, 3-minute, or 5-minute techniques that you can do throughout the day. So over the course of time, you're basically rebuilding yourself by rewiring your brain. So that same, and you are rewiring yourself. You're not rewiring the other person. But by you rewiring yourself, it will change the relationship with the other person as well. So by you changing, you are causing a change in everyone around you.
I've been fascinated listening to you there, because I was thinking from a business point of view, obviously. And, if a company's reputation, image, or whatever it is not giving off that energy, then it's not going to attract customers, is it?
Exactly. So that's why they when you get into like the selling business, for everyone is a sales agent, in my opinion. Because you're constantly trying, and you don't have to be a paid sales agent for a company to be a sales agent, because you were even kids are sales agents. How many times has your kids come to you like, hey, can I have this candy? Well, what if I go do this chore? And then, and you're kind of like, okay, fine, I'm sold. That's fine. So you start off by being a sales agent in your life. And what happens is, if you sound like a sleazy sales agent, that, you could be saying the right words, you can have like the right demeanor, be wearing a perfectly good, nice suit, thinking that, oh, I'm making a great impression. But if your energy comes off as neediness, or you just want to make the deal because it's for yourself, and there's really nothing you're doing for the other person, then the other person is going to read that energy from you. And you're not going to make the deal, because there's going to be something off. Like, well, I don't know. There's just the person saying the right things. They're doing the right things. They look a certain way. They look professional. But there's just something about that person that just, and I'm sure everyone has been in this situation, right? Someone walks into a room and you just feel like, I don't know, there's just something about this person that just doesn't feel right. But I don't know what it is. It's usually because the energy that the person is giving off is not on the same wavelength as you, but it could also mean that there's something within them that they haven't healed yet. So their insecurities are causing this type of negative energy around them.
Yeah, I had that exactly the other week there, when my wife and I went to buy a new sofa. Or, do you call it sofa? The
sofa,
yeah. And I loved the sofa, but didn't like the salesman, so he didn't get the sale. I didn't get the sofa we wanted, but never mind.
Yeah.
Let's stay with chaos. It can be both internal in business and external. Do you think you can isolate chaos causes, or do they combine to create a multiplier effect?
So the internal chaos is what's going on within you. So if it's a business, what is the chaos that's going on within the business itself? That's really the best place to start. Because just think about what you can do in a business by having more conscious leaders, more authentic leaders that are not afraid, or maybe they are afraid, but they still push through it anyway, and showing their own vulnerability to their staff. So a lot of, and that's usually where we start for businesses as well. Because a lot of people think you gotta be this very male centric energy where, okay, show no emotion and just get the work done kind of mentality. And that's really not the type of business that's really going to be, it can be successful. I'm not saying it can't be successful, but you're not going to have high morale. You're not going to have truly people that are truly happy working for that organization that might even feel like, hey, I want to stay here forever. You're probably going to have some people like, okay, you know, when I'm young, I'm just going to do my job, but you know, I'm leaving after it gets too hard. So really taking the time to consciously run your business at the highest level of the organization and show your authenticity, bring out your vulnerability, and have these kinds of programs for all of your leaders, all of your supervisors. Because a lot of people become supervisors without going through any sort of management training. And when they go through management training, it's mostly focused on, you know, the type of work that they do, or like time management or conflict resolution. But there isn't a lot of programs out there. I don't think there's any that really teaches managers how to manage yourself well first. And then once you're able to do that, then you can serve your people even better. And then your people would want to work for you. They're not going to be forced to work for you, which is really the difference between a boss and a leader, right? Good leaders, they're just themselves. They're not trying to get people to follow them, but people naturally gravitate towards them. And then the external chaos, that's always a little, you know, you can't change external chaos, right? And it's the same for businesses too. If the market is down, you can't change the market, but you can harness that chaos and you can see, well, what is there in that chaos? Is there something we need to change? Like this pandemic that's happening in 2020. When it first hit, people were like, okay, yeah, we'll be back in a couple weeks, you know, no big deal. And then they started to realize like, this seems to be more long-term. And you see some businesses really thrive. And then you see some businesses completely went down. Same type of business though. So what's the difference between the two? One decided to harness this chaos and see, okay, well, how can we break through it? You know, how can we treat it as the good chaos and be more creative? Even restaurant businesses. There's actually a story of two brothers, both had restaurants right across the street from each other. COVID hit. One brother like, okay, you know what? Our restaurant business is doomed. We're just going to shut down. We're going to have to find out what else we do with our lives. The other brother thought like, hey, how about I actually invest in money a little bit more now, which everyone thought was crazy. Like, well, why are you investing in money? You should try to save money. He's like, no, I got, you know, I'm going to try this. And he actually built an outdoor drive-through shed. So people can just drive through and and now that business is booming. There's like lines for several hours. So he actually skyrocketed during COVID, right? So it's all about mindset and then how to look at the chaos that's happening within you and external to you and harnessing the power of it so that you can break through it and succeed.
Very inspirational, Jothi, very. Do you think most people who need your help are aware they are living in and causing chaos, or do they just think that's how it is and plod on, possibly causing more chaos?
Yeah, I've seen both sides. It's definitely easier to work with people that realize that, okay, you know, I want to do something about this, right? Because they're setting that intention to actually want to do something about it. But we're always willing to talk to anyone that feels like, okay, there's just something, there's lots of things going on in their lives or in their businesses. They just don't know what to do about it, but they don't really know if this is just how it is. And we're happy to work with them to kind of start shifting their perspective a little bit. Because if you and not everyone needs a program, right? So if you're running a business, everything's going really well, you feel enlightened to come to work every day as a leader, and then you see that in your staff, like our people are genuinely happy and they have high morale, maybe there's not much you need to do. Like maybe you're doing a great job. There's always higher levels you can get to. Maybe you're in level 3 right now, which is okay, everyone's happy. There's nothing to complain about, but is there another level? So we can even help with that. But usually we get people that are actually businesses or individuals that are in pain, right? Because it's only when you're in pain that you want to do something differently to get out of that pain. And maybe you've tried different things and it hasn't worked. So now you're at that point, like, okay, I need someone to come and help me with, like, how do I get myself out of this? And those are usually the more committed people, because when you're in enough pain, you want to get out of that. But then we also do help others as well.
Jothi, it's my Walt Disney moment. I like to give all my guests 3 wishes. If I were to give you 3 wishes for the understanding of the value of conscious leadership by people, what would those 3 wishes be?
So I would say one would be not just being able to survive in your life, but really thriving in your life, getting up every day and just being so happy that you're actually alive, that you get to do more of the type of work that you've been doing, and also being this a new self, being your authentic self again, knowing who you are. So maybe I combine all of that into one wish. But it's it's really a lot of people want to go from trauma to triumph, or just being able to survive in their life and just feeling this mundane sense of happiness. And what I really want to do is like, no, like that's just like a basic state. That's probably like even a low level state. What we really what your real wish is to get to a state of just thriving, like, or you're so excited to get up every day and go about your day and whatever it is that you do. So that's one wish. Another wish, by being conscious and authentic, and even allowing yourself to be vulnerable, is knowing who you are from the inside. And oftentimes we are the culmination of society, culture, parents, teachers, friends, and oftentimes we lose who we truly are authentically from within us, until something happens, like until there's an emotional or physical trauma to ourselves, or we wake up one day and we get this level of consciousness. And my hope is that you don't have to wait, because the universe will always send you that things in a different way. The universe is always trying to get you to come to this consciousness. But I would hate for you to wait for that emotional or physical or mental trauma to happen for you to get to this. So our hope is to lead you to this consciousness, so you don't have to wait for that. Because once you get to this level of consciousness, everything changes. The way you look at life changes. The way you look at all of the chaos in your life changes. And there's really nothing that can come in your way to stop you. And the third would be, if you're a business, let's just say if you have to have a wish for a business, then it's, yes, you're running a business, but who is running the business? It's the people in your organization. So really having that people-centric mindset is going to get you more success, more happiness, more sales, more performance. Because when you treat your people as your biggest assets, and yes, still keeping the business side of things, your admin side, those are things, the mundane things still have to be done. But when people know that they're going to always want to follow a leader where they know, like, okay, this leader will always make the right decisions. Maybe there might be times that they might have to lay people off or things like that. That happens in every business. But they know that, okay, so we can trust this leader to make the right call. I've known leaders to do that. They're not going to, they've actually offered to resign themselves because they're the ones getting paid the biggest amount of money, rather than laying off 20 other actual people that work under them. So when people see things like that, I've actually seen that happen where the workers knew about this, like, hey, our vice president is deciding to resign so that we can have jobs. They all actually went and met with the vice president, like, hey, you know what? You don't have to do that. This organization needs you. You know what? Just give us a few months and we'll find other positions. But we would love to come back when the business thrives. So it's by you being a conscious leader, you can make such a massive impact on your organization, and your organization can make a massive impact in the world.
Truly inspiring, Jothi. And just before I say goodbye to you, I just want to remind people again that behind me is your URL. So do go along. Jothi Dugar, I have been totally inspired and mesmerized listening to you. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great being here today.